We carry a quiet assumption that the person we call ourselves is a fixed, permanent thing. We point to a name, a career, and a specific life story to prove we exist. But if you look past the biography, the foundation of that identity begins to dissolve. When someone asks who you are, the labels come out as reflex. You might say you're introverted, the ambitious one, or a little bit anxious. We treat these descriptions as if they were written into our DNA, but these traits are often just neural repetitions, habits of thought and reaction that your brain learned to play on a loop until they felt like nature. Over time, we repeat these character traits so often that we forget they were ever optional. We stop seeing them as things we do and start seeing them as who we are. That is the moment the illusion takes hold, when you can no longer distinguish between a learned habit and your actual self. You can see this loop in the middle of the night. You wake up to the exact same thoughts, the same reflexive emotional spikes, and the same insecurities that have followed you for decades. Eventually, the sheer exhaustion of fighting these patterns causes us to stop questioning them. We accept the weight of these thoughts as a reality we simply have to live with. Once that acceptance sets in, these labels start making your life decisions for you. Your identity acts as a filter, automatically discarding opportunities because they don't fit the type of person you've decided you are. By mistaking these repetitive emotional loops for your innate identity, you effectively build a self-imposed cage, a personality that dictates exactly what is possible and what is forever out of reach. This rigidity isn't a character flaw, it's a biological strategy. The brain is an energy-saving machine, and it views the act of constant, conscious decision-making as a drain on resources. Every time you repeat a thought or an emotional response, you strengthen a physical neural pathway. The more you walk that path, the wider and faster it becomes. It eventually transforms into a dominant highway of light, making that specific reaction entirely automatic. When a pathway becomes this efficient, the brain stops looking for alternatives. The behavior is locked into place, and we experience this biological automation as a permanent part of our personality. What we call our true self is often just the brain's drive for efficiency. We are mistaking neurological momentum for human identity. Most of these automatic pathways formed as survival strategies. They were the specific adaptations you needed to navigate your childhood or your early social environments. But if these are just outdated biological programs that cause us pain, why is it so difficult to simply let them go? The ego operates on binary logic. The familiar is safe, and the unknown is a threat. It views any shift in your identity as a risk to your survival, regardless of whether that identity is helping or hurting you. Because the brain equates familiarity with safety, it will aggressively defend a painful identity. It prefers the certainty of a sad or anxious self over the terrifying vacuum of having no defined self at all. We cling to the bars of our cage because the space outside feels like a void. To the ego, a known pain is always better than an unknown freedom. This fierce defense of our flaws is rarely a defense of who we are. It is the survival script of a younger version of ourselves, desperately trying to stay in control. Consider what happens when you strip away the labels. If you had no biography, no list of failures, and no social roles to play, what would be left? You would find a state of pure observation. You can see a thought arising without being consumed by it, and you can feel an emotion without becoming it. This is the shift from "I am anxious" to "there is anxiety." You are no longer just the trapped passenger in the car. You are the one witnessing it pass by. This realization changes your relationship with your mind. You aren't the storm. You're the sky that remains unchanged no matter how much the weather shifts. Freedom begins when you stop identifying with the automatic mental noise and start recognizing yourself as the awareness that hears it. The goal isn't to live without a personality. The goal is to stop being a prisoner to one. You can use your personality as a tool without letting it dictate your entire life. Neuroplasticity proves that our brains are designed for change. We have the biological capacity to dismantle old, rigid pathways and rewire them until new behaviors become the default. The anxious mind can learn to find calm, and the introvert can learn to lead. These shifts are possible because your initial labels were never permanent. They were just the first draft. Beyond every survival strategy and every inherited script, there is a part of you that remains present and unchanging. We find our greatest potential when we stop trying to define who we are. In the unknown, we discover everything we are capable of becoming.
If this video added value in your life, please like, comment, and share this video, and subscribe to Mind Reprogramming.